about a new lily pad ladder or diving board? Need new life jackets, water toys, or dog life vests? We've got those too. Stop by and see how we can help. Pioneer Hills Marine in Roscommon, making memories priceless.
One man's junk is another man's treasure. Sell your treasures at the Grayling Promotional Association's annual Junk in the Trunk. Saturday, August 31st from 10 to 3 in the Grayling Tractor Supply parking lot. It's Grayling's largest yard sale and a perfect time to sell all those things you no longer need. Junk in the Trunk does all the promotion. All you have to do is sign up, show up, and sell your stuff. To reserve your space, go to graylingpromotional.org, graylingpromotional.org, or stop by the Grayling Chamber of Commerce. Junk in the Trunk, August 31st.
Good morning, Northern Michigan. Welcome to Friday Faceoff here on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport TVC. Cherry Coyne, Rich Calkins in studio. And Rich, no surprises really in the trade deadline other than the fact that some people think that we didn't get enough for Jack Flaherty. Depends on beauty is in the eye of the beholder, correct?
That's exactly right, JC, because we had certain teams, the so-called New York Yankees, who backed out of a deal late in the process because they were concerned about the back issues that Jack Flaherty has had on and off throughout his career. And we know, being Tiger fans, that he's had 2 injections that we know about so far this year, but in both instances has responded very well from them.
I don't know when he's pitching for the Dodgers. I think it's actually tonight, so that'll be interesting to see how he performs. When this happened last year with Michael Lorenzen, he threw a no-hitter.
Right. Not a bad way to embrace it.
But Lorenzen's been moved twice since losing the magic touch of our great pitching coaches.
Yes, Chris Federer, and the rest of the crew.
Yeah, seem to have the magic touch with the pitching staff. The Tigers lost badly in the last couple of games. They have. And but there's, I mean, the loss of Flaherty, I could have gone either way. Mm-hmm. You know, I would not have minded them seeing them keep him and then see what happens, how much they need to sign him, what's the rest of the season like for him, right. What is his value. I don't know what the brain trust figured there, but, you know, if you the sports writers see, I think are probably a little smarter than me. Maybe.
They're certainly in tune with things
a
little more.
Right, exactly. You know, it may not have anything to do with smarts. It just may have to do with more knowledge about what's going on. And, of course, if one of these guys hits big, I mean, Tarek Skubal is what, an 8th-round draft pick?
Yeah, 9th round, yeah.
9th round, yeah.
But, yes, exactly, because he was coming off a surgery, you know, one of the Tommy John surgeries and all of that. And you never know. And, you know, I've read some promising things on the catcher that they're getting back.
Yeah. Hits with power, switch hitter.
Switch hitter, got some speed also.
Well, I'd like to see, you know, Dingler needed to come up. The Kana and Carson Kelly deals are meaningless, really.
Right.
You know, especially if we get Parker Meadows and Riley Green back, which, you know, we got so many guys rehabbing right now. It's ridiculous.
It's hard to keep it straight.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the MASH unit, is that the real team or is this? But you're right.
Mize seems to be a little farther ahead than Reese Olson. He
got pushed back to the 60-day DL, though. Mize did. So, yeah.
I didn't read that. It was on. When did that happen?
Just the other day. I was stunned. I hadn't heard anything. Like you, I'm expecting him to be back soon, all this. And all of a sudden, one of the transactions during the trade deadline was that Mize got moved to the 60th.
Get the hell out of here.
And I'm like, what? Where does this coming from? The guy was supposed to be nearing get back with a potential rehab start back in Toledo, and then hopefully was going to be able to join the parent club. But that's what was on the on one of the games the other night.
Okay. Well, I just read in the news where everybody stands here, and I didn't see that.
Carpenter running the bases at Comerica Park.
Yeah.
Good sign.
That would be helpful.
Like you said, Parker Meadows, he's been doing a rehab assignment for
Green also continues his rehab work with increasing baseball opportunities. Sometime this weekend, Carpenter and Green will take live batting practice against Casey Mize. Meadows is continuing his rehab with the Mud Hens, and Hinch says there's a chance that Parker Meadows could be back by the end of the weekend. And then Olson has not done any throwing program yet. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's a little depressing.
It is.
What the starting staff at the very beginning of the year looked pretty good.
Yeah, sure did.
Kenta Maeda almost has to come back and start pitching either as a starter or as a long-term reliever, because on top of everything else, we lost Andrew Chafin, so that thins out the bullpen a little bit. They brought up a couple of relievers from Toledo because you need arms.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, you're going to need some innings eaters here.
Yeah, Manning, and they didn't even mention Matt Manning. I don't even know what's going on with him.
Yeah, I nothing. Yeah, right here on CBS Sports, Tigers' Casey Myers shifted to the 60-day injured list as of July 29th.
Well, obviously, they don't think it's important for him to pitch. It's
Right.
more important for his long-term health than to eke out a couple of games.
Because remember, he had the 2 surgeries. He had a back surgery and he had the Tommy John. So with both of those, like you said, JC, they're probably wanting to make sure that he is 100% fully recovered and looking more towards next year with him.
Yeah. At this stage of the game, the Tigers have probably given up the ghost of making the second wild card.
Yes.
I mean, they would have to win the next 3 games against Kansas City that they're playing at Comerica Park right
who
now.
Look really,
they'll win,
really good right
but
now.
they'll win tonight because Skubel's going.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
As long as the hitting that had been showing more consistency, that we need to continue to do that and give him some.
Skubel and Olson and pray for rain. If you don't know what that means, folks.
And then we have Seattle, a team also for the playoffs. So again, no rest for the wicked for sure.
Yeah, it's well, the Tigers tantalized this year.
They sure did. Yeah, the consummate tease for sure.
I mean, well, and we still got 2 months left of baseball.
We do.
But they are going to almost certainly get pushed into the background coming here in a little bit with we had the first NFL game of the year, a preseason game of the year. We're starting to get a lot of news out of Detroit Lions camp, which we will certainly talk about here in a couple of minutes. But going back to baseball as a whole, thank God Keith Gave isn't here. Yankees playing baseball again.
They are.
What Jazz Chisholm? Who was this guy?
This guy.
Had you ever heard of him before?
No, Florida Marlin guy, but a typical Florida Marlin's got some speed, and he has certainly welcomed himself to the New York Yankee fan base.
No doubt about it. And then he comes in. DJ LeMahieu, Brother Rice product, is kind of not starting every game, but he comes in and hits a grand slam.
DJ, like you said, has not had a good year this year.
No, he has not. He's been banged up pretty badly. He's been a great Yankee.
Oh, he's been tremendous.
Yeah.
And then, but like you said, all of a sudden, they get Chisholm, and then all of a sudden, LeMahieu all of a sudden just comes up, hits a couple home runs in a game, does some, all of a sudden, man, all right, I know I've been disappointing this year, but hey, I can still help this team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Going back to the beginning of this conversation with the Yankees dropping out, all reports were that they had a deal.
Right.
I don't know what prospects the Yankees were giving, but given what's happened to the Yankees starting staff and injuries, you can understand their trepidation about putting Flaherty in that lineup.
Yeah, exactly. Another person that has had some injury history, so it's concerning. And then you kind of, in the back of my mind too, I always wonder just a little bit about Baltimore and what they did end up getting some starting pitching. But again, obviously the big talk for a long, long time was Tarek Skubal going to be moved for a unbelievable deal from them. But you notice what they did immediately. Jackson Holiday got moved up the day after the trade deadline and hits a home run, a grand salami.
A grand salami. Well, and an embarrassment of riches is the.
How did they fit all those guys on the 40-man roster? That's what I want to know, because they have some serious depth throughout that organization.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's we don't have quite the same depth.
No, we do not. No, we do not. When you can bring a guy up from AAA with the pedigree of a Jackson Holiday, and he comes up and hits a grand slam in his first game back, and it's like, hello, big time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting tonight. One of the things that I want to start keeping my eye on a little bit, Rich, it's Friday at Comerica Park. Tarek Skubal is pitching. Is it going to be a sellout or close to a sellout? Are we getting to the stage where he's must-see TV?
I really hope so, like how obviously Justin Verlander used to be. I went to a couple of games, of course, purposely when Justin Verlander was pitching, because, again, like you said, JC, that must-see TV, you might see history. You might see a no-hitter. You might see things like that. But it would be cool to have the Tiger fan base show up and show out there on a Friday night in Comerica. Probably going to be a warm one, but that's what summer baseball is all
about. Let's see here. Flaherty's not going for the Dodgers tonight. He's going tomorrow.
Okay,
The Dodgers begin a 3-game series with the Oakland A's, who God knows where they're going to be.
That's a good team to get warmed up to, for sure.
Flaherty is pitching against a guy named Mitchell Spence. So, given what happened with who's the left-hander, the legendary left-hander who just came back for the Dodgers?
He didn't pitch so well.
Matt Stafford's
his
best
buddy,
friend.
Yeah, in high school. Oh, jeez, yeah. Yeah, he did not.
They got shelled. It's the first time in his, I think it's 18 years in baseball that he didn't strike out a batter.
Isn't that incredible? What a run to have there.
It's the first.
God, I can't think. I hate that when I can't think of his name.
It's the first time that the Dodgers or the Padres have swept the Dodgers in LA in 11 years.
Amazing. And watch out, the Padres made some moves at the trade.
They did. A lot of people think that they had the most improvement of any team in baseball.
Right. Could this be similar to like an Arizona or a Texas from last year, when you make a couple of moves and next thing you're hot at the right time and it carries all the way through to a World Series championship?
Well, if look at the Dodgers have legitimately should have won, the last 7 World Series on paper.
Yeah, as Tiger fans, of course, we were disappointed during that 10-year run from 2006 to 16.
Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I know. It's driving me crazy too.
And then, but think of what the Dodger fans are going through, that they have the highest payroll in baseball, and they look on paper the best team in baseball.
They're like the Red Wings were, you know. Oh, yeah, we're winning the World Series again.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And then
well, you haven't won it at all.
Yeah, come up short.
When's the last time the Dodgers won the World Series?
It's been a few. Let's check that out.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to. I mean, look at their payroll is like over $100 million more than the Yankees,
and that's saying something. That is crazy.
Yeah, so they have unlimited depth, although they have had like crazy injuries to their starting staff. Kershaw has been in and out of the lineup. Walter Buehler just had, who we're counting on. Every free agent pitcher that they've signed in the last 5 years ends up in the DL for a major stint.
Right. The Dodgers did win the World Series in 2020. They beat the Tampa Bay Rays in 6 games.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That one we kind of because it was a COVID issue, so it wasn't really as,
Just like how the Lakers and the Dodgers both win the COVID World Championships.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, their trophies had little mass around them.
Yeah, it's going to be obviously the Tigers will not be in a playoff hunt, but I think a lot of races in Major League Baseball in both divisions, both leagues, are going to be tantalizing.
Yeah, no. If you're a baseball fan, there's a lot of good baseball yet to be played, and
Yankees in Baltimore look like that's going to go down to the wire. The Sox might squeak in there. Cleveland continues to look pretty classy.
They do.
Yeah,
absolutely. They really turn
head scratchingly.
I mean, Ramirez, did he turn it on in that last series against the Tigers? He's been notoriously a Tiger killer, but he kind of didn't really kill him earlier in the year.
Yeah, Nelson Cruz got out of the league and gave it to him.
And here we go. Here's the baton. Take over.
Yeah, and obviously Dodgers and Padres, which has been a really good rivalry. Kind of, I don't know if it ever actually supplants the Giants, but the Giants have not been that great recently. I don't know why the Giants can never land the free agents they go after.
It is shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the Astros too are just 4 or 5 games above 500, and they're tied for first or in first in the West.
Yeah.
And so no one's running away with that.
Well, the Mariners, the Mariners can't hit.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Arozarena is going to turn that lineup around. Right. They have Julio Rodriguez in there, who is one of the best hitters in baseball, but they didn't have any action around him and put Arozarena behind him. So we'll see if that kind of kickstarts that offense a little bit. But that's another team that's kind of like, how did the Mariners get where they got?
Yeah.
But the Astros, the reason why the Astros were so lousy, they had 2 superstars on the DL to start the season. Those guys, the pitching is coming around. The hitting is coming around. The Astros, you cannot argue with the success that they've had in the last dozen years, ever since we traded.
Verlander. Yep. And but yeah, no question. The way they started this year, like you said, with those injuries, some people were writing them off. But since that, of course, they played really good baseball.
Write them off at your own peril.
That's right.
When we return here on Friday Faceoff, we'll talk Lions. We'll talk Olympics. We'll talk a little golf at the Olympics. All that and more when we return on Up North Sports Radio's Friday Face-Off, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport. It's time for Destination ML.
It's time to fly. Start your next comfortable, convenient journey from Northern Michigan's hometown airport, Cherry Capital Airport in Traverse City. TVC makes your trip easier with affordable terminal-adjacent parking and all the friendly airport services without all the crowds. Fly from Cherry Capital Airport to your dream destination on Allegiant, American, Delta, Sun Country, and United. Visit tvcairport.com and fly with TVC. Cherry Capital Airport in Traverse City.
Who knew? Fresh air is a destination, a place to breathe in the lapping waves of Torch Lake and explore the tree-lined trails of northern Michigan. A place to connect with nature and each other, one-on-one, in the waves, woods, and wonder of Bel Air. When you're looking to escape the everyday, breathe in the magic of northern Michigan at Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
The Northeast Michigan Community Service Agency is looking for active adults 55 or over for the Retired Senior Volunteer Program. It allows volunteers to apply a lifetime of skills and wisdom to make a positive difference in the lives of others and their communities. Volunteers choose how and where they want to serve and how much time they want to give. For details, stop by the Northeast Michigan Community Service Agency at 1015 Short Drive in Prudenville or online nemcsa.org. nemcsa.org.
Hey, it's Anthony Bellino from Spin on Sports, Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show on the Great Voice Radio Network. Heard live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 right here on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY. Whether it's Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, Lions, Michigan State, the Big Ten, the Mid-American Conference, all the headlines, all the stories, and always Michigan teams first. It's all right here on Spin on Sports, weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on the Great Voice Radio Network. Heard locally on Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY.
Jerry Coyne, along with our good friend Kevin Klein from Cherry Capital Airport TVC. Going to be interesting to see if we have a little downtick with the trade-off of a couple of key players. But the Tigers continue to play great baseball.
Yes, we are. You know, we're hitting the bats. We're solid team right
runs,
now.
Yeah,
we're getting the runs across the plate, and so still 5.5 games back. I think
we're going to sweep the Royals this weekend.
Yeah, I think the Tigers, I just want them to have a solid season, put things together so we can go next year in spring training. And as I mentioned, we kick off the season next year in L.A.
Yeah.
So I was so happy that we kept our star pitcher. I really do think we have something to build on.
No doubt about it.
And so hopefully...
And you still got some pretty good trips to go, go to see the Tigers, go to some great cities in the United States, right out your back door here at Cherry Capital Airport.
Absolutely. You got, Seattle coming up here next week. And, for a week out, it's $600. San Francisco. Now, we talked about that one a few weeks ago. That was in, just over $300. It's $470 right now, but that's not too bad. And Chicago's only $309 for that whole week.
That is the surprising one, because a lot of times you look at the prices from Cherry Capital Airport to Chicago, and you're like, wow, that seems like a lot of money. So this is a bargain.
This is a bargain. It's a great trip. And then, as you get into that Labor Day weekend, they're out in San Diego, so 538. But the big trip is the end of the week. Back to Oakland. They're playing in Oakland.
Yeah.
Going to San Francisco, 288.
Yeah.
288.
And, as I've told you many times, to me, it's the best city to visit in the United States. For a few days, eat the greatest food in the world. They got some great sights. Golden Gate Park is amazing. And you can take the little trip over to Oakland. If you want to go, give me a call here at the radio station. I'll tell you about a couple of the greatest barbecue places in the world in Oakland.
Oh, make me hungry. And then in a few weeks, at the mid-September, we'll be playing the Royals in Kansas City.
Yeah.
4:45.
Talk about barbecue.
Yeah, there you go. And then wrapping up the season on the road, and then we have our homestand to finish it out. But on the road in Baltimore, 2:48.
There you go. So, another great food. Get some of those the crabs, the soft shell crab.
Oh, okay, wait a second. I thought this was about baseball. Are we going to do a food show now?
Yes. Hey, there's a lot of time to kill during the in-between innings. that Baltimore has Boog's Barbecue, which is supposedly voted year in and year out best stadium food, period.
All right.
Okay,
We're going.
All right.
We're going.
And then very quickly, look at your Lions schedule, because a lot of the away games fly directly out of TVC to Dallas, to Houston, and it's going to be an interesting season.
Yeah, you have Dallas. It's 353 in October. Houston, 258. All kinds of great games this year. Start planning now, because those flights are great prices. Yep. And so, and I think we have a great road schedule. You're hitting some awesome teams.
Yeah.
And we're wrapping it up against the 49ers. Another San Francisco
Christmas,
trip.
New Year week in the Bay Area. I'm buying that ticket now.
There you go.
That has been Destination MLB here on Up North Sports Radio. What's the website?
tvcairport.com.
There you go. Thanks, Kevin. tvcairport.com. We were talking about all the great baseball trips you can take, and there's still a lot left. As we mentioned, there's 2 months. And it's kind of cool to go to some of these great cities, Rich. Check out a game.
Yeah.
And do a lot of other stuff, in Chicago, in San Francisco. But with the escalating prices of Lions tickets, you better look at the travel schedule. That might be your best opportunity to see the Lions. Is on the road.
Oh, and how much fun would that be, Jason? You see last year.
We saw it, yeah.
All of the Kansas City games and all of that when they were Lions fans on the road, and how they would kind of at the end take over the stadium and chant, "Let's go Lions," and Jared Goff and all of those. Yeah. It was so much fun. It was just so cool to see.
And it's going to happen. Like, they play on the road in Dallas and Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at Did you see the photos that came out of Dallas Cowboys camp yesterday?
I did not.
There's hardly anybody at their.
Okay, I did see that one. Yes, about in Oxnard, California. That's where they have their
and
camp every year.
Traditionally, has been packed.
Yeah.
Practice after practice, year after year, decade after decade.
Waiting to get in,
Yeah.
and like you
not
said,
so much.
No, I mean it was in it, and they wanted to make sure that those weren't taken, say, way before practice or way after practice. When everyone's gone. Oh no, they showed another view of the team practicing on the field with 30 people in the stands.
Yeah.
Just like stunning.
Yeah. No, it's Jerry Jones. We'll see. Like I said last week, I would love it if they went 5-12.
Oh, I would love it too.
Yeah.
I don't understand what he's doing with the CD Lamb contract. By waiting, he has cost himself a lot of money.
Well, there's no doubt, but part of me gets it. They had this big conversation about that on the McAfee show yesterday. This fifth year now by agents doesn't mean crap anyway. There's we don't have a contract.
It's like they ignore it, like it doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, BS.
No, that's another.
And and Ayuk right now is holding out. He's going to make 17 this year. That's not chicken scratch. Now, I get it. Your agent and a lot of people are telling you, well, you're leaving, $14 million on the table.
Right.
But
yeah, they all want that long-term security.
I guess they do, partially because, it's a dangerous sport.
It certainly is.
I mean, you could get your knee blown out and be out for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I get that part of it.
Yep.
And more and more portions of contracts are getting guaranteed. Like I was surprised DJ Moore, they guaranteed $82 million of that. I mean, he's good.
Yeah. And I think he may have had 2 years left on his contract.
He did.
I mean, it was like.
But they extend. I don't know. I have no idea why some teams do what they do and why other teams don't do it. I mean, the Niners are in a trick bag.
They are.
I mean, Williams, who is the best left tackle in football.
Yeah.
Wants more money. He's making $33 million now.
Yeah, I don't get
$33 million, and I need more money.
The big man has not shown up at camp. Brandon Ayuk is a hold-in. He's at camp but not participating.
Right.
He wants that extra.
So the same is what's going. Who's the great wideout down in Cincinnati?
Oh yeah, Jamar Chase.
Yeah, but they got wide receiver issues up the yin yang there.
They do. Both of their top receivers are not happy, and you know how notoriously cheap the Cincinnati Bengals are.
Oh boy,
those stories go.
They're the
way
worst.
Back.
Oh yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah. So I don't get it, and. All these people say Jerry Jones is not worried about. He'll pay whatever he has to Dak Prescott. I don't think Prescott's coming back.
I don't think so either.
No.
Everything he's saying really sounds like he's going to the open market.
Well, yeah, and they're always talking about this, and I don't want to sound like one of these national talk shows, but very briefly, there's not a lot of teams that would pay $60 million for any quarterback.
Right.
Okay, but one of them would be the New Orleans Saints, I believe. That's where he's from.
Yeah. So right, exactly. Played at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
And so collegiately.
But he played in that great Louisiana. I mean, right next to Texas is the Louisiana high school boneyard, the grow yard, the lab.
I think
there's more guys in the NFL from Louisiana than there is from California.
That would be interesting to check that out. I think part of the deal too. Jerry found Dak in the fourth round.
Yeah,
and so
that's definitely part of it.
Part of it, and then he uses the star on the side of the helmet as part of the selling.
Well, he makes
point.
a lot of money. There's no doubt about it.
It does draw a lot of attention.
And Texas does not have a state income tax.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You've got the Raiders and the Saints would drop any amount of money on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they would.
I don't think he's that great. I mean, he's played well in the regular season. He's a total bust in the playoffs.
He has been a choke artist in the postseason.
Yeah. So I don't know what that's about.
Yeah. And that's what the biggest thing.
Yep.
He was playing at an MVP type caliber during the regular season, but then when the postseason hits, he's a different player.
There's no doubt about it. And if they don't have C.D. Lamb, what does the Cowboys offense look like? Who's running the football?
They have no running backs.
Well, yeah, they do. They get the kid from Ohio State
yeah,
is back.
the ghost of Ezekiel Elliott, and they have 2 or 3 new linemen this year.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
So I mean,
There's potential for major disaster.
Oh,
there.
it could go south in a hurry in Dallas.
And I would love it because McCarthy is on his last year of his deal.
Yes.
And, it's just going to be amazing. And that's the end of the Dallas Cowboy discussion, period. John
Kaminsky
out for the
bummer.
season. Yeah.
I kind of like that guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's proven to be more of a depth guy the last year or two, but a guy that
you need
really
depth.
You do. He's come in and he's provided pressure on quarterbacks and has done a solid job when no one really been to 4 or 5 camps, couldn't hang on to any team, and the Lions have given him a home.
Campbell has been praising, was it Ozak?
Anzarike. Levi Anzarike. He's really played well.
Yeah, so far they're loving what he does, and they drafted him, within the second round.
Like 3 years ago.
Yeah, and when he's been completely healthy, which has been rare. He's been a force.
He has.
So, and DJ Reader finally in camp doing some football stuff.
Good to see.
We're starting to get some positive news out of the DBs.
Yes, Arnold and Rakestraw has done. They've really. I love how they talk about how physical they've played. So far in this preseason, and so that's good to see. They're going to New York and gonna play in some scrimmages with them before they play them.
Giants or Jets?
Giants.
Thank God.
Yes. Yes. Oh, my gosh. Can you imagine? Yeah.
That's another team that would pay Dak Prescott any amount of money.
Oh, yeah. They would.
I mean, they probably learned their lesson when they let the running back go to the Eagles.
Yeah, Barkley.
Yeah. Have you watched any of that?
I have the offseason.
I know you have.
Yes, I've watched every one.
The Giants look like morons.
They did. They did. They just give us a call though before you get another offer. Give us the final
just the
call.
whole thing. I would never have agreed to do that. It's one thing to do the locker room and the team and the coaches. It's another thing to have cameras following all the staffers, all the brain trust of a football team.
The ownership group making decisions. God. That stuff behind that you need to keep behind closed doors.
Yeah, you do.
Because it's never going to look good in the public.
I don't care. Unless they win the Super Bowl this year, it's going to look like crap.
Yes. Because, again, it's always going to be like you're disrespecting a certain player, you're this or that. It's nothing positive's coming from that.
No, this is – and I got to imagine that this will be the only year it happens because everybody else is going to say, like
every week there's a new story. You're like, can you believe he said this?
Yeah. No. That is embarrassing to say the least. Yeah. And I think this will be they got away with it. The original Hard Knocks is gold.
It is gold.
And then now they got the midseason. It was interesting because they had the Dolphins. I guess it depends what team you get.
Yes.
Or you can convince to do it.
Yeah, is there entertainment value with that?
But this, I can't imagine another team signing up for it after what the Giants have.
Not at all, because you see them talking to draft prospects and all of that, and their interviews with them, and it's like, wow.
Well, and it even they kind of filming the interactions with the other coaches in the league when they're at the and that just looks like spy novel crap,
right. As we know, Bill Belichick's had those cameras for a long time, all those interactions, so we know.
That's the other thing. How busy is Bill Belichick now?
Mr. Media Mogul now, who hardly would talk to the media before. Now he's signing all these deals to talk. I mean, the guy obviously knows football. I mean, he would love to really get an honest Bill Belichick, not the coach Bill Belichick, but
you're going to get him. I mean, he's going to be on McAfee and on the Manning cast, so you're going to get.
I like it. Yeah. I like it, but it's really funny the irony of hardly talk to the.
We're moving on to Cincinnati.
Yeah, it just despised some of the questions.
The player is the player. I don't talk about players who that didn't play. And Saban as well. Have you seen him on some of the inside college football stuff? Yeah, he's going to be great.
He's going to be good. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know what this means. I keep seeing Lee Corso's photo. This has got to be the last year for Lee
it's got it,
Corso.
because I've seen there's been times, JC, when he's been up there, and I just feel bad. You know what I mean? It becomes time where it's time to move on. He's had a tremendous career. It was a great gig, putting on the different heads and helmets of the team he's going to pick. That's great stuff. That's really done.
Well, the guy had a major stroke, and kudos to him for coming back.
Yes.
And they, kudos to ESPN for keeping him around, but, and he's in his 80s.
Yeah.
I mean,
comes the time. And
yeah. I mean, they let go of Lou Holtz, and, I thought Holtz was great.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah. So, when we return here on Up North Sports Radio's Friday Faceoff, we'll talk some Olympics. I want to see what Rich has been watching in the Olympics because I'm sure it's unique. That and more here on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport, TVC.
Sports on the Michigan News Network.
Another rough offensive performance for the Tigers, only able to manage a single run in 8 innings against Royal starter Seth Lugo during a 7-1 loss in their series opener. Cater Montero giving up a 3-run homer in the first, settling down for a 7-inning outing. Detroit's record falls to 52-58 after their 4th consecutive loss. Michigan State's new quarterback, Aiden Childs, continues to promote confidence in himself.
I think I'm the best quarterback in the Big Ten in the nation, so my job is to prove it.
Ferris State football taking the number 1 spot in the 2024 GLIAC coaches poll for a 5th consecutive year, barely edging out Grand Valley State at number 2. Davenport was voted 3rd, Saginaw Valley State and Michigan Tech rounding out the top 5 in the conference. And Thursday's Lions practice seen as a little bit sloppy on the day by observers in Allen Park. Too many penalty flags and mistakes. Guard Kevin Zeitler said head coach Dan Campbell was getting on them about it. Second-year DB Brian Branch took part in a session for the first time as he recovers from injury. Chris Villar, Michigan News Network.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
You can get in on the excitement of Northern Strike at Camp Grayling when you sign up for the Northern Strike 5K run.
Northern Strike is one of the nation's largest joint reserve readiness exercises right here in Grayling, and the Northern Strike 5K kicks off on August 4th.
Sign up now at funpromotions.com, funpromotions.com, or follow the Camp Grayling events page on Facebook for details.
The first 150 runners to sign up are guaranteed a commemorative t-shirt and an awesome medal.
And everyone is guaranteed a glimpse of Camp Grayling at its best.
Plus, there are prizes for the top finishers. The Northern Strike 5K benefits the National Guard Association of Michigan Scholarship and Camp Grayling Wellness and Recreational Program.
It brings the camp and the community together. Register at funpromotions.com for the Northern Strike 5K, August 4th.
Brought to you by Nat LaFontaine Automotive, Kodiak Group, Pedal Hard Brewing, and Q100 Michigan.
Welcome back to Friday Faceoff on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport. Jerry Coyne, Rich Calkins in studio. Rich, I'm sure you knew what I was watching this morning.
Yeah, of course.
The Olympic golf is happening, and the cream is at the top of the leaderboard. Hideki Matsuyama, Tommy Fleetwood, Xander Schauffele, Rory McIlroy, John Rahm. Should be fun to watch, and I love, like, tomorrow and Sunday. The good thing about it is that it's on early.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. With the time difference, obviously, from Paris there. But, no, so that's very cool. You know, pretty much, JC, I've been just watching the standard stuff that's been available so far. But I'm going to be looking for when the wrestling takes place, some canoeing, which will take place. You know, way back in the 80s, JC, there was a big movement to get marathon-style canoe racing into the Olympics.
Really?
It didn't happen, of course. And what they consider marathon style canoe racing is anything over 2 hours.
Okay.
And so that was the push to get those kind of styles so that some of our local athletes might be able to contend for that. It did not happen, and I don't know if it ever will at this point, but So they have the flat water canoeing. They have all kinds of other things going on. But some of the stuff, Simone Biles comes through big time, does what she is.
Simone does what Simone does.
Yep.
So, she's been as advertised.
Yep.
The men's Olympic basketball team and women's as advertised.
Right, taking care of business.
The United States number one in the medal count, which is not that surprising, especially with the lack of any Russian athletes.
Yes.
But started watching some of the boxing. Remember when we were growing up, that was the centerpiece.
Oh, my gosh, to watch the young Sugar Ray Leonards and guys like that
and these
coming
Cuban
up.
boxers that were so highly touted that that they wouldn't let out of the country.
Right, because you'd never heard of them in the States, because like you said.
Tefalio Stevenson.
Yes, exactly.
That guy looked like a brick shit.
Oh, my gosh, yes. No, those Cuban boxers were something in the day because, again, we never got a chance to see them other than the Olympics. And so it was so cool to see.
No doubt about it. Oh, God, what was I going to say? The coverage is kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not home during the day, which is when all the channels are blasting everything away, and now you got to kind of count on, these mid-level channel. You don't get many choices.
No, it's a real hodgepodge of coverage there for sure. And with the huge time difference and with Twitter or X and things, you find out the results before because they're trying to save the good stuff for prime time.
Right.
Well, that's 3 a.m. over in Paris. And so they're trying to limit some of the coverage on it per se, and then really blow it up during the primetime hours. But it's so difficult to do that nowadays.
The track and field starts at the end, over the weekend.
Yeah,
and
looking forward to that.
Well, yeah, I love the sprinting and some of the other events there. And like I told you, like the discus and the stuff that you never see.
No, you do not. Never ever. They get no coverage whatsoever. But in an Olympic year, you're going to catch some.
Yeah, but when I was a kid growing up, I was a long jumper and a high jumper, and you did that in high school, and you kind of remember some of that stuff. I don't understand how these guys jump as high as they do now.
I just like
14 feet.
Watching Simone Biles do her tumbling runs, and you see the explosion, what an explosive athlete she is. You're just like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that is impressive.
It delivers every 4 years. I'm glad that it's every 4 years. I have never once, I think, ever watched any of the, world champions. Like right after the Olympics, they'll have the world championships. Right. And I'm like,
I've lost interest at that point. No, I'm with you. I think every 4 years is perfect.
Yep.
I mean, it gives you kind of looking forward to watching it, and you watch as much as you can. And then when it's over, you're like, all right, see you in 4 years.
Yeah. We're speaking of golf, and Lindsay Southwell is on vacation. Even she is
well-deserved.
It's a hard-working gal over there. And I'm going to be playing golf at Shanty Creek on Sunday. So get on over to shantycreek.com and get some tee times. Great weather tomorrow. We might have rain late in the afternoon on Sunday, but I'm playing early enough, so I'm not worried about it. And with 5 courses, you can find the right financial options and the right kind of challenge there. But Balloons Over Bel Air is coming to Shanty Creek in just a couple of weeks, which is an absolutely amazing event, Rich.
Yeah, that sounds so cool.
August. What date is this, though? She doesn't have the date for Balloons Over Bel Air. Don't forget to bring your camera. This special 2-day event as we welcome back 15-plus hot air balloons to Shanty Creek and Bel Air at the slopes of Summit Mountain behind the Lakeview Hotel from 6:30 to 8:30 on Friday and Saturday evenings. Let me check.
Yeah, so every Friday and Saturday.
It's not every Friday.
Not every.
It's one weekend.
It is. So you got to get there to see that because, again, if you have not seen that, it truly is amazing. And then, of course, your Saturday morning, there will be a balloon flight over Torch Lake.
Yeah, that's August. It's the end of the month. So August 26th and 27th. I just wanted to get the right dates.
And no charge for this at all. It is 100% free.
Yeah. Well, and
perfect timing.
There you go. That's right off the Shanty Creek website. So, Friday and Saturday evening, starting at 6:30, there will be a balloon launch from the Alpine Tubing Hughes. So you can go ahead and make reservations for dinner.
Right.
Make sure you make them in advance so you get a window seat. And it's amazing what these things look like up close.
Oh, I can imagine. That's they're from a distance, they're beautiful, but even up close is even better.
Yeah, and Lindsay wants to reiterate that this is a spectator event only. Nobody is getting any rides in the balloons, unfortunately. Go to shantycreek.com for your golf, for your dining, for the Rich Calkins Memorial Prime Rib Buffet, and everything that we talk about here. We've got some messages from our fine partners, and we will be back after these words on Up North Sports Radio's Friday Faceoff, brought to us by tvcairport.com.
Who knew? Fresh air is a destination, a place to breathe in the lapping waves of Torch Lake and explore the tree-lined trails of northern Michigan. A place to connect with nature and each other, one-on-one, in the waves, woods, and wonder of Bel Air. When you're looking to escape the everyday, breathe in the magic of northern Michigan at Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
There's no better place to get the most out of summer than the Alpine Party Patio in Gaylord. Outstanding live music, fun games, and food that will make your mouth cry tears of joy. Like the Tavern Slayer, fresh certified ground chuck, topped with bacon, candied jalapenos, lots of cheese, and our own buffalo sauce. Don't let summer slip away without a trip to the Alpine Party Patio. It's the place to hang with friends. Get more at alpinetavernandeatery.com. Alpine Tavern, for up north flavor.
It's time to fly. Start your next comfortable, convenient journey from Northern Michigan's hometown airport, Cherry Capital Airport in Traverse City. TVC makes your trip easier with affordable terminal-adjacent parking and all the friendly airport services without all the crowds. Fly from Cherry Capital Airport to your dream destination on Allegiant, American, Delta, Sun Country, and United. Visit tvcairport.com and fly with TVC. Cherry Capital Airport in Traverse City. The Traverse City Record Eagle supports WCMU Public Radio in Traverse City with Total Access Record Eagle subscriptions. Total Access means home delivery of the printed paper, plus on-demand access to local and breaking news and other community publications online or on the app. Find out more at record-eagle.com/subscriptions or call 231-946-2187. That's 231-946-2187. The Traverse City Record Eagle proudly serves 13 counties in northwestern Lower Michigan.
We all have a special place where the vibe is just right. For my friends and I at St. Ambrose Cellars, just down the road in Beulah. St. Ambrose feels like a private paradise. Great local music every night, house-made beer, wine, cider, and mead, along with the tempting taste from the kitchen. It's just the coolest hang. You might stay for hours, even get into the disc golf. There's nothing quite like St. Ambrose Cellars. Check them out at stambrose-mead-wine.com. Once you go, you'll know.
Tune in to Tiger Baseball on 101.1 WGRY. Brought to you in part by Mishaway on Opal Lake Road. Exceptional golf and exceptional dining. See it all on Mishaway.com, Y101, Up North Sports Radio, and home to Tiger Baseball.
Welcome back to Up North Sports Radio's Friday Faceoff, brought to us by tvcairport.com, Cherry Capital, your destination for all over the world, right in your backyard. Let's see here, Rich. Well, a pretty dramatic finish to the 76th Asabo River Canoe Marathon. If those of you that don't know what happened, what a turn of events.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Stunning what took place, you know. Westine Ryan Halstead led at every timing location through the entire night.
Yep.
And at one point,
13 minutes.
13-minute lead at one point. And
which is essentially insurmountable unless something intense happens,
yes,
which did.
And it did. You know, Wes on the final portage, the portage, foot dam, Wes slipped, fell down on his backside, and I don't know if he hit his head or not or whatever, but was obviously there was
very
something
badly injured.
Yes,
more injured than he let on.
Yes, refused to come out of the boat. He would not stop.
But he could barely paddle
but
at
he
all.
could barely paddle, yeah. And he's doing great now. I've followed up with him.
Yeah, no, I talked to his dad, and he's perfectly fine. So
yes.
if he was concussed, it was minor.
Mm-hmm. But after paddling and expending 25,000 calories or whatever amount you've done all night long, you combine that, it's like, wow, you're a little dehydrated, you're a little this, you're a little that, and
like you said, he would not come off the river. They wanted to finish.
Yes. And kudos to Ryan Halstead for
essentially paddling them in on his own.
Yes. Yeah. And then also, of course, Steve Lajoie, Wes's partner from last year, the champs. He was concerned about Wes, paddled alongside the team into the finish line to make sure Wes was okay.
Yeah.
They put a life jacket on him to make sure everything was good.
But it paved the way for Mike Davis and Guillaume Blaise to win. Now, you had pointed out last week before the race started how hard those two came on last year.
Yes. And they were doing it again.
They were like in 7th place, ended up in 2nd or 3rd.
Third, yes, they did. And and you saw the timing locations, how they Wes and Ryan had a 5-minute lead going into Cook Dam. They made up 2.5 minutes in between Cook and Foot, so they're only 2.5 minutes back at that last portage.
Right.
And then they were able to, with what was going on with Wes, that they were made up that time, and like you said,
it might have been one of the reasons why Wes fell when that is the steepest.
Oh,
of
it's
all.
so steep. Right
yeah,
there.
I don't even know how. I mean, there's got to be a lot of people that fall there.
Oh, there is. There's a ton of YouTube videos out there of people that have fallen.
It is.
You've been sitting,
I don't even know what degree angle it is.
But
I would just stay in the canoe and slide down the hill.
If you were 100% like you hadn't paddled all night long, it's still steep and you could trip and fall. Let alone being in the boat for 13 plus hours.
I'm sure
point.
Dozens of feeders and assistants are falling all over that hill.
Happens every year. Every year someone trips it. Every single year.
So they're trying to get back in the water as fast as humanly possible. Wes slips.
Yeah.
Kudos to Mike Davis, who has been a tremendous paddler for, what was this, his 15th start?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. A kid that, of course, went to school here in Grayling, and we covered his football games back in the day when he was a lineman. And it just, it opened up the door for him, and he did, one of the interviews I saw is that he had said that he felt bad to win his first marathon in that
They may have caught them anyways.
Maybe.
It certainly would have been a dramatic finish.
It certainly would have been, for sure. But Mike's aware enough and knows he was concerned about Wes.
Yeah,
he was very concerned.
A lot of people, I don't know what, I was trying to figure out what place they ended up finishing.
I've got it right here. They ended up 4th.
Really?
Yeah. Still made it, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Because, they keep track of the point-to-point times and all that. And Wes and Ryan had the 66th
worst time.
Yes, going in from the last time you look. And again, because that's basically with what Ryan was trying to do himself and all that. And it's just a horrible situation, of course, but we're, again, glad that everyone's healthy and good and all that, and motivation for next year.
Yep.
And second place, how about Ryan Zavro and Wes Willoughby?
Yeah.
Those guys end up coming
Weston
in.
Willoughby is
another kid.
He could be knocking on the door.
Yes. Traverse City athlete, grew up in Grayling.
Yep.
Yeah, he is. That's his best finish thus far, and he's ready for it to
I
be
was
a champ.
encouraged that Father Matthew Wigden made it is an official finish again.
Yes,
highly
impressed.
17 and a half.
Unbelievable. How about Team Belize in the top 10?
Yeah.
I mean, they were 9th overall, but I really expected more teams to drop out, JC. It didn't happen.
No.
I mean, really,
only
12 teams dropped out. That, to me, that was the shock.
Unfortunately, the boat that we sponsored, Tim and Dave Burr Jr., Tim experienced a separated shoulder, and
yep.
Yeah.
And
their start was so good.
They were off to an awesome start for sure.
So but that's going to happen. I agree with you. I thought, what they were talking about, how many people, the timing points and who they may or may not pull off the river, and only 12 of the 100 people that start. I think that's incredible.
It is incredible, for sure, with 49 of them never entering this race before.
Yeah.
That is stunning, for sure. But no, it was a great night once again last Saturday night in downtown Grayling. It was a lot of fun and just wild, for sure.
Yeah, it always delivers. It's never the same.
No.
As we pointed out, I was following along on the website, and it just looked like Wes and Ryan were going to win, and then bang.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was doing the computer thing and the Facebook Live stuff. That's always interesting to see, and and then towards the end, I was watching the GPSs in their boats to see, and all of that. And so it's there's many different ways that you can follow that.
Going back to football, did you watch any of the Hall of Fame?
I did. I was really impressed with how well those two teams played.
It didn't look bad.
No, I mean, you know how it is in preseason football. There's penalties galore and fumbles and interceptions. It was a relatively clean played game.
Yeah. It's going to be very noteworthy to see how this kickoff starts playing out. It looks weird. It's going to take a little bit getting used to.
For sure.
But a couple of these special teams coordinators are going to figure out some pretty cool things. I have a funny feeling.
I agree. I think the potential is there for a lot of excitement.
Yep.
And again, they're trying to reduce the high-speed collisions, of course, and that's why they're so much closer.
Yep.
And I totally get it. Protect the pumpkin there. And so but it's got potential.
But the funny thing is that we're at the Hall of Fame game. Devin Hester, the first returner ever getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I'm sure they will end up figuring out how to score touchdowns off of this.
Yes.
But Hester was such a weapon.
Oh, he was. Yeah, he was.
Mel
was
Gray
their
Jr. The Lions had.
Chicago for that Super Bowl run. He was their offense on the kick return.
Yeah, but remember Mel Gray Jr. for the Lions?
He was
had
phenomenal.
4 or 5 touchdowns over a 5-year period. Billy White Shoes Johnson, more of a punt returner than a kickoff returner, but. It is one of the more exciting plays in football, and it's going to be up to these coaches to figure out how to spring some of these big gains out because it didn't look good last night.
No, it like you said, it's so new. It's so weird to watch for the first time. You're like, really?
Yeah, and I mean, these guys have been thrown into the cauldron, and the blockers and the defenders.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it's all new techniques.
It looked like the slowest play. It didn't even look like it was part of the game.
Right. Because they can't move until the guy actually touches the ball.
Yeah,
and so they're just basically, you're getting in front of someone to block them anymore, whereas it used to be, those guys gunning down the field going 20 miles an hour and the violence of those
But they're
hits.
still doing it on punts.
And so that's rhyme or reason, right?
Explain it to me.
No.
Explain it to me.
Explanation. I have none.
And and they're doing it in college, so you better start making it more uniform.
Yeah, I agree. Because
I understand in punts. I mean, the line is on the line.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't get the major
because you have to protect the punter. You have to.
Yeah. So it's not the same set of circumstances.
Right.
So why don't they just make the opening kickoff a punt?
Yeah, there you go. Because when teams get scored a safety upon them, most of the time they choose to punt anyway instead of kick it off.
Yeah.
So it's up to they would rather do that anyway.
Yeah.
But most teams.
Well, that's because it's less likely that you're going to get a big return on.
That's right. Yeah. Exactly. The hang time of a punt.
No, I understand it, but we'll see if it lasts. And I don't want them to do away with the kickoff.
No. Because again, that just because what had been going on the last couple of years wasn't like to start a game every time it goes into the end zone or
we still had 4 kickoff returns for touchdowns last year
because they either mishit it or they thought they were going to pin them in a corner and that didn't turn out so well.
No, I mean, it's a stupid thing to debate about in some essence because, like I said, I think they will figure it out. They probably are not going to figure it out until like 5th, 6th game into the season when they've had a lot of time to work on it.
Right, and there's more film out there. And what if someone has some success? It's a copycat league.
I mean, you're probably going to end up seeing some passes out of that formation.
Yeah. Heck yeah, you can. Yeah, I could.
Which
see.
I think that is cool.
Yeah. I do too.
If they figure that part out of it.
It's a lateral, but it's a pass backwards and then behind the boom and go the other side. And no, that's fun. That's when it's a lot of fun. You have the Music City Miracles and different things like that have happened that have won games for teams.
Yeah, Lions begin their preseason this Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah.
In New York.
New York.
Yeah. The Giants.
Mm-hmm. That's why they're going out there a couple of days earlier.
Yep. Going to have a couple padded practices with them. And as you're going to see more and more teams do all their work with these scrimmages.
There's going to be some things that the Lions fans are going to need to pay attention to, and since it's happening on Thursday, we can talk about it for like Sudfeld and Hooker.
Mm-hmm.
By all accounts, Sudfeld looks a hell of a lot better in camp this year than he did last year.
Yes.
And Hendon Hooker has been very inconsistent.
Yes.
But the other side of that, Rich, is the wide receivers that are competing for jobs.
Right.
To see how well they interact with these guys, because if you look at the depth chart and everything else, there's probably at least 2 wide receiver positions open to about 6 guys.
Yeah, there's a kid named Fountain that's done well early, and I'd never heard of the kid before. So hopefully, this is the time when these kids are on that roster bubble. You got to make hay, baby.
And same thing with the D-line.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I love preseason football for the competitive nature of it, for guys hoping to change their lives.
Yeah, I didn't used to care for it, but as we've had more eyeballs and discussions about the Lions team, and you're a little bit more invested in exactly what happens, then there's going to be a lot more interest in what happens.
Yeah, with as the team gets better and the quality of the depth improves, then there'll be some good players available.
Yep. So we will be carrying that preseason game on Q100 Michigan. That is the home of Detroit Lions football throughout northern Michigan, northern and central Michigan, and it'll be good to start hearing that. And as we head into fall, maybe it'll bring a little cooler weather.
Maybe it will. It has been a little humid the last couple of days.
Just a touch. Yes. Just a touch. That's going to do it for us here on Up North Sports Radio's Friday Faceoff, brought to us by Cherry Capital Airport. Don't forget, here tomorrow and Sunday at 9 o'clock is our golf show, Finding Fairways. We talk about Olympic golf. We spent some time up at Boyne Mountain, where they just had the Tournament of Champions played. We interviewed the new champion. Great golf tournament, a lot of legends up there. And Joe Charles helps me with my putting. Let's see how that goes. And you can also watch what we just did on our Facebook page, Up North Sports Radio's Facebook page. Same thing with Finding Fairways.
Doing well. Appreciate you having me. How are you?
I'm doing really well. It's always great to chat. Thanks so much for squeezing us in. Your thoughts on this new kickoff that we saw last night in Canton?
Yeah, I thought the early returns were good. I think the point got made by Mina Kimes over at ESPN that I think we saw the most vanilla version of this possible. A lot like everything else in the preseason, we were never going to get all of the wrinkles and all of the creativity that I think have a chance to really make this exactly what the NFL rules people wanted it to be, which is an exciting play in football again. I didn't think the irony was lost that on the night that we were celebrating, among others, Devin Hester, the greatest punt returner and greatest kick returner I've ever seen in my lifetime, that we were also changing the rules to try and get this play back in it. So I thought it was quick. I thought it provided that opportunity for the ball to actually be in play on a kickoff again and maybe produce some of those plays. And I think as we go along, a lot like runs where, as a former offensive lineman, we knew, hey, the more crowded around the offensive line the defense is, it's tougher to run against. But if you pop through that first level, you're off and running out the gate. That same thing's going to be true of the kickoff. So I thought first rattle out of the box, it looked pretty good.
Yeah, that was my thought too. Like I saw the potential for returns in that setup. It seems to me, in a very novice eye, you find your way through that one collection of bodies, and then there's only grass in front of you.
Yep, exactly. And we've